Hello and welcome to the simTree instruction video. My name is Celine, and in this video I will be going through the Getting Started Quick Guide to the simTree system. I will give you a step-by-step overview of the basic settings, adding employees, and creating employee schedules so that you can get up and running with your simTree account. You can find more detailed descriptions and videos for the individual steps in the user guide or on our YouTube channel. Let's get started. When you log into your simTree account for the first time, you'll be sent to the home screen. On your right, you can see the user guide where you'll find more info about how to use simTree. If you close the user guide, you can open it up again anytime through the user menu. The first thing you need to do is add your contact centers. Go to Settings and Contact Centers, press Add and give your contact center a name. Add as many centers as you need and press Save. If you go back to the home screen now, you'll see all your contact centers. Clicking one sends you to that contact center schedule page, which will be empty for now. Now you need to add your users. Users are people who have access to the main simTree system, so for example, anyone who edits the schedule or creates reports. Employees have access to their own schedule through the employee app, so you don't need to add them as users. To add a user, press Add and fill in email and password. Decide which rights the user should have to the different parts of simTree, and when you're done, press Save. Now add your employees. The employees are specific to a single contact center, so if you go to the Contact Center tab in Settings, you can upload a file with employees. You'll find the specifications for the file in the dialog window. The other option is to add employees one by one. Make sure you're in the correct contact center. You can see the current contact center on the top right. If it's not correct, go to Home and select the correct one. Then go to Employees and press Add. Fill in the info, and if you want the employee to be notified that they can log into simTree, enter a password and tick the box. You don't need to fill everything in right now. Only an email and a name is enough if you want to enter the rest of the information later. Once you've added the employees, you can fill in the information you need. The numbers in this section are used for scheduling and warnings in case your employees' schedules don't fit your contracts, and the information in this section is used by the system during automatic scheduling. You can select several employees by ticking the box to save the same settings for many employees at once. Next, you need to set up your task types. Go to Settings and select Task Types. You'll find there is one task type already in the system. This is the default task type that simTree uses when doing automatic planning. If you want, you can change the settings of this task, but you can't remove it completely. Add your own tasks for every separate work task you want to keep track of in the schedule. You should also add a new task for work that contributes to call taking less or more than other tasks. This can, for example, be a dispatcher that does other work besides manning the phone and thus contributes to call taking 20% less than a regular employee. This will be added as a task type with an 80% work factor. When you're done, press Save. Do the same settings for break types and absences, but for these you should also input if they're paid or not. This will affect the payment info in any reports you make. Once we have set up our task types and employees, we can start creating employee schedules. There are two basic types of schedules, cyclic schedules and shifts. We'll start looking at cyclic schedules first. These are rolling schedules that repeat over one or more weeks and that are scheduled regardless of forecasted call volume. In the Employee tab, select Cyclic Schedules. Select an employee and press New. Select the number of weeks you want to rotate over, and for each day, add the work shift you want. You can add either fixed shifts, which always look the same, or flex shifts that can vary in length and time depending on predicted workload. For fixed shifts, select if you want automatic scheduling of breaks or add breaks yourself. When you're done, press Save. Now let's move on to shifts. Shifts are possible work shifts that will only be planned if there's need for them to cover call volume. Select an employee and press New. Shifts can also be fixed or flexible, and you can add many different shifts, and simTree will choose the one that fits the predicted workload the best. You can also set up availability to show when an employee can work. Press New, Add, and drag the availability bars, or use the copy and paste function. You can see an employee's availability in the schedule while scheduling. Now let's take a look at break rules. To do so, go to Settings and Work Rules. Break rules are used for automatic break planning, so if you aren't using any automatic breaks, you can skip this section. The break rules tell the automatic scheduler how to schedule breaks, so you need to add one break rule per type of break pattern you want to use. Which break rule is used depends on the length of the shift. So for each break rule, add the minimum and the maximum duration of when this rule should apply. You also need to add the minimum gap between breaks. Then, expand the rule and add the breaks you want in the order you want them to appear. Remember that the more flexibility you give to the scheduler, the better the optimization will be. Let's look at these two example rules to see what I mean. We have two break rules, which are both for shifts between 6 and 7 hours. They both have 3 breaks, 2 10-minute breaks and one 40-minute lunch, but one has a minimum gap of 1 hour and the other has a minimum gap of 1 hour and 15 minutes. If we draw this out visually, we can see that for the 6-hour shift, the minimum gap of 1 hour gives some flexibility for the system to optimize. However, for the minimum gap of 1 hour and 15 minutes, there is only one single way to schedule, so there will be no optimization. This is why you should always try to keep the minimum gap value as small as you can, and remember that simTree will always try to spread out breaks over a shift when possible. Now let's move on to agreements and payroll rules, which are used to generate payroll reports. Add an agreement by pressing Add, click Add Payroll Rule, and input the info. Create as many rules as you need and press Save. You might have seen the word tag in a few places in this video. The tags are used to connect different settings to different employees or call centers. To create them, go to Tags, press Add, and enter a name and abbreviation for each tag. You can then enter the employees tags in the Employee General section. Lastly, let's look at the employee app settings. Here you can set up the publishing of the schedule. The published schedule is the part of the schedule that the employees can see. In Team Schedule, you can decide if the employees should see other employees' schedules too. And in Requests, you can select if the employees can make requests and how many days in advance you want requests to be made. Lastly, you can select what you want the employees to see in their stats. This concludes the quick setup guide. You are now set to either start scheduling or to continue to the setup of the data import. You can check out our other guides and the user guide for more information. Thank you for watching.